Alright, this is my review on the Well R4. The gun is an exact copy of the Tokyo Mari H&K MP7 and a copy of the real MP7, blah blah. But Well, I'm guessing, couldn't acquire the trades, so that's why they call it the R4 instead of the MP7. The gun is produced in China, and I know what you're thinking already. Don't most things that come out of China are pieces of shit? Well, for the most part, that's true. Because the last Airsoft gun review I did on a China gun more than supported that. But it seems that Well is a company that wants to try to deter the stereotype that most things that come out of China are pieces of shit. And so far, in my opinion, they have. But I'll get to showing the gun a little bit later. I want to show you the box first. There's no real significance to it, but it's just entertaining. When you first look at the box, it looks pretty professional. The gun's displayed nicely, and it's got facts and different pictures on it. It's got a picture of the gearbox assembly right here, and it's also got the Hop Up logo, which looks a lot like Tokyo Mari's. How surprising for a China company. When you look at the back of the box, is where all professionality flies out the window. If you actually take the time to look and read all these little picture bubbles right here and the descriptions in them, then you realize that these people have no idea what they're talking about. They're pretty gun ignorant, and especially they're ignorant to their own product. Because if you were to actually follow what these pictures depict on the gun, you'd find out that they don't do what they say on the gun at all. As an example, this picture right here says that the safety is right here, which is right here on the gun, but actually that's part of the stock catch assembly. And again, they say that the safety is in a different place right here, which is where the magazine catch is. But just to add insult to injury, on top of that, it says that the same switch is actually the magazine release. It's in two places, and it says this is the safety and this is the magazine catch. I didn't know it did two things. So when I eject the mag, do I turn the gun on safety? Alright. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the gun is shitty, it just means that they don't know what they're talking about. When it comes to the construction of the gun, when I first took it out of the box, I was pretty impressed with its heft and its construction in general. I looked up a lot on the gun before I actually bought it, so I had a pretty good idea that it wasn't going to be cheap. But the gun is made out of pretty good ABS plastic. It's got a good hefty amount of metal parts, but the real steel firearm is made out of composite plastic, and it's pretty true to the gun itself. It's got textured plastic for the top and lower receiver as well as the handle, and that's got flat, smoother plastic for the top part of the receiver. The metal parts would include the magazine, the selector fire switch, the bolt catch, the trigger, pictina rails, the sights, which are also removable, and the barrel. Not to mention, the stock arms are metal as well. Now, the gun's features, it's got quite a few. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I got the gun, and the features on this model are pretty prominent. It's got a retractable stock, which clicks into place pretty firmly. It's got two different sight apertures. It's got pistol sights, which at the same time have the two little white dots on the back and then the one on the front, which I'm pretty surprised because on most cheap guns they won't take the time to put that detail in there. On top of that, the gun has not only pistol sights, but it's got rifle sights as well. It's just a little peephole sight, which works fairly well and I like it. The gun also has a unfoldable front wrist grip, which it's pretty functional, but its locking mechanism is pretty poor. And I'll have to say about that. Since it's not the real steel firearm, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It doesn't seem like it'd be much of a problem, as long as you don't hold the gun by the wrist grip, because it will retract on itself, as can be seen. It just unfolds. In fact, it has a little switch here on how to operate it. you would pull this little switch right here, pull it back towards the pistol grip, and then unfold. That's what the instructions say. And to fold it back up, you pull it towards the ground and then fold it back. But in all reality, you can just take it and unfold it without actually touching the switch at all. Now, to fix that, you could probably take the little pin that holds the grip on off, and with a little bit of filing, you could probably get the locking mechanism to be a little more firm. But personally, that's not a problem to me, so I don't really care. The magazine holds 35 rounds, and the construction of it in general is good and bad at the same time. The outside casing is stamped metal, which impressed me when I first saw it, because the gun only cost me $90, and for the most part you can get this gun for under $100 in most places. I got this one on sale and got an extra mag with it, and it all came to a total of about $90. Now, the mag is good and bad at the same time. I ejected it, and it fell on the ground, and this corner right here broke off. If you look carefully, you can see where I fixed it, but the plastic on the bottom of the mag isn't very well built. But, you don't really want to be ejecting mags on the hard pavement anyway, and most of the time when you play Airsoft, you're not going to be playing on pavement. You'll be able to eject the mag on the ground and not have to worry about breaking it because it's grass or something. That's where usually we play. One thing about the mag in particular, though, that I like is the fact that they're cheap to buy. You can get an extra one for about $10 on Airsplat, and you can get a high cap magazine for them as well, which only costs about $12, 140 round. The gun's compatible with Tokyo Mari mags too, but why spend extra money on Tokyo Mari mags when you can get cheaper ones which work just the same? One thing about the mag, though, would have to be most AEGs, when you expel all the rounds from a standard cap mag, there will be 3 or 4 left. But with this gun, once it shoots all the BBs, the little stop right here extends out the top of the mag, which is pretty interesting to me because it pushes the very last BB into the chamber and takes out those last few BBs that would normally fall out. The stopper pushes back in there and locks in place, but when you put it in the gun, it shoots up into the chamber well. That is a really big plus. Even though the magazines are only 35 rounds and you can expel those pretty fast, that isn't that good. But in general, I think it's got a good magazine. Compared it to the Tokyo Mari, I haven't actually seen the Tokyo Mari, but owning quite a few of their models myself, I'll have to say the construction is pretty good. It's really sturdy. It's hardly got any squeaks at all. Even the grip, despite the fact that it folds in on itself, it's pretty sturdy and you're not going to break it by accident, unless you drop it, of course. But the quality isn't as good as Tokyo Mari completely, because it does have some loose parts, like these wrist rails right here. I'm sure you can hear it. It moves and it's pretty loose. But I'm sure if you took an Allen wrench key, because the bolts on here are an Allen, you could just tighten them up. It's the same on the other side. But that'll be the end of part 1.